Well, Alexi's here. Aww.
She actually texted me.
So I've got 2 years to practice and make mistakes and learn and watching it. And are you living in
Good to see you. Yeah, you want to say hi to people?
I thought it would be good with camera.
J'ai beaucoup de Je parle en grec alors
Rachel.
Rachel.
Sí, Filipón. Que no son, sí. Bueno, es... So she told me she would be late for surgery. She said but she was already ready. Man, I gave her like 5 minutes. She's in the group. So maybe better or do you want to keep it? I'm doing good. How are you? Good. You want to say hi to people on the live stream? Ah, inte så
The
cool. Ah,
remix
He said it's nothing from Montana or something like that. So
my quote is
لا اليوم يعني شو بشوى
Christina Otania.
ما لا
Otania Kaisi. Alla
شو هاي الحلوة زي ما بدك عشان انت ما بتحكي فرنسي صح؟ بدك شاطرة بالفرنسي وعشان هيك أنا
con logo na
عشان كده فكرت اكتشفت So maybe we'd like to take a seat. So we're all here. So the graduates is here. Those benches. I have a microphone, okay. There. Good have a live assembly.
I know, right? Look at my I guess.
Okay. Oh yes. Who is missing? We're missing Ubi. Where is Ubi?
He's around.
He's around. Ubi! Now that all of us got here, we are missing someone. Okay, well, in the meantime, while we wait for him, I want to welcome all of you. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you to our graduate students who are finishing their time at Polis or continuing, it depends, but at least they are finishing their studies. We know, I mean, I really appreciate all your efforts because you started normal, the classes, but then on your first year, at the middle of the year, we turned to Zoom, and then since then, we have been on Zoom all this time. And you persevered, so congratulations. Thank you for being here. And Ubi. And anyway, so now that we are all here, we can officially start. We also want to say hello to everyone who is watching us on YouTube on the live video. So thank you for joining us. If there are some graduates also in the video, in the live video, which I guess you are there. So also, we miss you a lot. Thank you very much also to all of you for graduating and for finishing your studies with us. And we really wish you were here. And I hope you can listen to me speaking properly despite all the noise and the video and everything. So we are going to start, as you probably have seen in the schedule, with a...
We didn't choose the background music.
Just a note, the background music is an addition, external addition. Hopefully it's not too bothering. At least, it gives us an ambiance, for the ambiance. And, okay, so we are going to, I will give now the microphone to Christophe. He's going to start with a speech. So, well, thank you very much to everyone and welcome.
Good evening to everyone. I hope you are hearing well. It's been a real challenging year. I think perhaps the most challenging year in the short history of Polis with the coronavirus and all the consequences. We have had virtual times, and we are all longing to come back to reality. This is why today I chose a topic that has very much to do with reality, because afterwards the Bible is the Word become flesh, the Word of God who has become flesh. And we are going to talk about the symbols of love in Song of Songs. So I will first talk about what it means, the Song of Songs. This is full of animation. When we say Song of Songs, Shira Shirim, Asma Asmaton, it's of course an Hebraism, which means that it's the most beautiful song. This is the meaning. And according to Jewish interpretation, the Song of Songs alludes to the love between God and Israel. And afterwards, grounded on this rich hermeneutic tradition, the fathers of the church have applied the Song of Songs to the love between Christ and his church, which is the allegorical meaning, and to the love between God and the soul, each soul, which is the moral meaning. And Origen, in his commentary on the Song of Songs, explains that there are 6 songs. When one reads the Bible since the beginning till Song of Songs, there are 6 songs that allow you to get to the 7th song, which is the Song of Songs, which is the most perfect one. So he says, Beatus quidem et is qui ingreditur in sancta, beatus similiter et is qui intelligit cantica et canit ea, sed multo magis qui ingreditur in sancta sanctorum. So happy is the one, blessed is the one who enters into the holy, so the first room of the temple, and blessed is at the same time the one who understands the songs and sings them. But all the more is blessed the one who enters into the Sancta Sanctorum, into the Holy of Holies. That means the second room of the temple, the most holy one. And he says that the first song that one has to sing, if one wants to get into the Song of Songs, is the song that was sung by Moses. So one has first to get out of Egypt and sing the first song. I will sing to the Lord, for he is highly exalted. Both horse and driver he has hurled into the sea. This is the first song that we find into the Bible. And then we have the second song. One has then to walk the desert till the well that was digged by kings and sing the second song. This is recalled in the book of Numbers. From there they continued to Beer. Beer means well. That is, the well of which the Lord said to Moses, gather the people together and I will give them water. Then Israel sang this song. Spring up, O well, sing to it, the well that the leaders sank, that the nobles of the people dug, with the scepter, with the staff. Then we get to the third song. One has to go till the border of the Holy Land. This is recalled in the book of Deuteronomy, to sing the song of Moses. Listen, you heavens, and I will speak. Hear, you earth, the words of my mouth. Let my teaching fall like rain, and my words descend like dew, like showers on new grass, like abundant rain on tender plants. You will then need to fight under. So I wrote, according to the translation of Origin, it is Joshua, but Joshua in Greek is Jesus. Okay, so the word Joshua is the same word as Jesus. So you have Joshua, and then the fathers of the church have drawn upon these parallelism between Joshua, son of Nun, and then Jesus. So you will need to fight under Joshua, son of Nave. Nave is the translation into Greek, in order to inherit the Holy Land. Then you will sing the song of Deborah, when the princes in Israel take the lead, when the people willingly offer themselves. Praise the Lord. Hear this, you kings. Listen, you rulers. I will sing to the Lord. I will praise the Lord, the God of Israel, in song. Then you will get to the book of Kings, and you will sing the song that David sang when he escaped from all his enemies. This is recalled in the second book of Samuel. The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer. My God is my rock, in whom I take refuge, my shield, and the horn of my salvation. He is my stronghold, my refuge, and my Savior. From violent people you save me. You will then get to the book of Isaiah and say with him, I will sing for the one I love, a song about his vineyard. My loved one had a vineyard on a fertile hillside, but it yielded only bad fruit. Already we are in the context of vineyard, and this is getting very close to the thematic of the Song of Songs. And the seventh song, Et cum universa transieris ad altor. So I have to say that I quote the Latin because we don't have the original of Origin, which was written in Greek. We have only the Latin translation made by Hieronymus of his homilies on Song of Songs. This is why I quote the original text that we have, which is the Latin, which is in fact the translation. Et cum universa transieris ad altiora conscende, ut posis anima decora cum sponsa, et hoc canere canticum canticorum. And when you will have crossed all these places and all these songs, you will go up to higher levels in order that you become able, with the bride and with a beautiful soul, to sing these Song of Songs. And in the Song of Songs, we have first the symbol of the dim, which the dim means human love gestures and love giving. And they are the first level, symbol of divine love. They are compared to wine, which in turn becomes a second level symbol of divine love. So at the very beginning of Song of Songs, it is said there is an allusion to the dim, to the love of the beloved, and which is sweeter than wine. As the Song of Songs tells the story of a soul, of each person, of each believer, we start through the bridegroom's love, which becomes the love present within the bride, who will in turn give it back to the bridegroom. So, you see, in the book, in the Song of Songs, you really have like a path like an evolution. First, we have the dodim of the bridegroom. Then we have the dodim that are present into the bride, and then the bride gives back the dodim to the bridegroom. In Greek and Latin, dodim is impossible to translate, and so it will be translated as mastoi, breasts, or ubera in Latin, by lack of a better word. But the problem is that by translating in that way, we don't see anymore the link between the Shadaim that we have also in the Song of Songs, so the breasts, and the dodim, these manifestations of love. So let us start with the dodim, these love gestures. So first we have the bridegroom's love. In Hebrew, kitovim dodecha miyayin. In the Septuagint, agathoi mastoi su hyperoinon. And in Latin, meliora sunt ubera tua vino. Sweeter than wine is thy love. And immediately afterwards, it is said, naskira dodecha miyayin. Agapeesomen mastusu hyperoinon. We will remember thy love more fragrant than wine. You see that twice these dodim are compared to wine. Wine is a very, very powerful symbol in the Song of Songs. So the first symbol, which is the dodim, these love gestures, they refer to the bridegroom. Love starts in this allegory of love between God and his people, God and the church, God and the soul. The first thing is the dodim, and they come from God, from the bridegroom. And then the bridegroom's love will become part of the bride. It will find its abode within the bride. Ma yafu dodaich achoti kala, ma tovu dodaich miyayin. How much better is thy love than wine? But this is addressed to the kala, to the bride. So your dodaich, your love is much better than wine. Already we have come from the love that was in the bridegroom, and now it is present in the bride. The bride has received it from the bridegroom, and the last step is that the bride gives back the love she has received from the bridegroom. Sham eten et dodai lach. There will I give thee my love. This is said by the bride. So then we have the symbol of wine. As I said, it is a second degree symbol that also refers to love. We start with the bridegroom love, which is received by the bride, who in turn gives it back to the bridegroom. The same thing as before. Okay, so I will read the Latin. Porro cum sponsa loquitur ad sponsum, quia nuptiale carmen inducitur, ubera nominat dicens, quia bona ubera tua supervinum. So, this is the text of origin. When the bride speaks to the bridegroom, as this is a wedding song, she mentions the breasts, saying, in fact, breast in Greek and Latin, but remember, it is dodim in Hebrew. She mentions the breasts, saying, sweeter than wine are your breasts. Be in communion, like the bride, with the feelings of the bridegroom, and you will know that these kinds of thoughts are meant to inebriate and gladden. As the inebriating chalice of the Lord is good beyond all what can be said, thus the breasts of the bridegroom, the dodim of the bridegroom, are sweeter than wine. So, we have first the wine of the bridegroom. Sweeter than wine is your love. This is the very beginning, the very first verse of Song of Songs. Sweeter than wine is your love. We will recall your love, which is sweeter than wine. We are talking about the wine, the love of the bridegroom. Then the bride receives the bridegroom's wine. He brought me to the wine house. Hediani el bet ayayim. And then sweeter than wine. So the bridegroom brings the bride to the wine house, and there she discovers the wine of the bridegroom. And this is why the bridegroom can tell the bride, sweeter than wine is your love. Mat tovu dodayich miyayin. And then when there is a description of the bride, Sharerech agan as-sahar, al yechsar amazeg. Your navel is a rounded bowl that never lacks mixed wine. We have here, as you can see, some very beautiful tapestries that are illustrating. They come from the city of Reims in France. They are illustrating some topics of the Song of Songs. And then the third step is that the bridegroom receives in turn the bride's love. But it is the love that the bridegroom has put into the bride that the bride will give it back to him. When it is said that the bridegroom goes down into his garden, and the garden is a symbol of the bride. The bride is like a garden. There is a thematic of the garden. I cannot talk about all the themes of the Song of Songs because we will be here talking about the Song of Songs 1 month from now. But let us say that the bride is like a symbol. The garden is like a symbol of the bride. And the bridegroom says, I drink my wine with my milk. Shatiti yeni im chalavi. This he says when he goes down into the garden. So he drinks the wine of the bride. May your palate, this is said by the bridegroom when he describes the bride, may your palate, the palate of the bride, be like the best wine that goes righteously to my beloved. V'chikech keyein atov olech ledodi lemesharim. And the bride, at the end of the Song of Songs, she says, talking to the bridegroom, Ashkecha miyayin arekach. I would give you spiced wine to drink. Each time, the bride's breasts become a truer symbol of her love. So we go to the symbol of the breasts. We have talked about the symbol, the din. Then we have talked about the wine. Now we come to the symbol of the breast. So each time the bride's breasts become a truer symbol of her love. They first are the place where the bridegroom rests, and they become transformed into vineyards and the goat's well. The woman will become a true shepherd and vineyard keeper. We'll talk about that. Then the breasts become like the animals associated to the bridegroom, fawns and gazelle. After that, the breasts become clusters of vine, and they finally become towers of love when the bride's brothers suggest that she has no breasts. Let us see all these points one after one, because they are a little bit difficult. The first point is that the breasts are the place where the bridegroom rests. At the very beginning of the poem, the bride says, talking about her bridegroom, a bundle of mirth is my beloved to me. Sror amor dodi li. Between my breasts he shall lie. Ben Shaddai Yalin. A cluster of henna flowers is my beloved to me in the vineyards of the Kidwell. Bekarme Engedi. And very many times it is translated just in the vineyards of Engedi. But Engedi has a meaning. Engedi is the kid well of the kid, the well of a small goat. And that has a meaning, a tremendous meaning within the Song of Songs, which is always talking about wells and about goats. So then we go, the breasts become the symbol of the bridegroom. So I said first, they are the place where the bridegroom rests. Then they become the symbol of the bridegroom. We have the gazelles and hymns that are the symbol of the bridegroom. And several times in the Song of Songs, we have these adjuration, I mean these oath that is made by the bridegroom. I adjure you, O daughters of Jerusalem, by the gazelles or by the hymns of the field, don't wake up love before she wills. So there has been a lot of discussion on these gazelles and these hymns. What does it mean? How come the bridegroom is swearing by the gazelles and the hymns? Let us look at the Hebrew and we will understand better. Be'tzvaot or ba'ayalot asadi. So tzvaot recalls tzvaot, the hosts. So we say that Adonai tzvaot. So the Lord of hosts. It's an epithet of God. And then we have the ayalot. So we have the word ayal, which means the strength, and which is also an epithet of God. So in fact, the bridegroom, which symbolizes God, is swearing by himself. My beloved resembles a gazelle or a fawn of the hymns. Liken yourself, my beloved, to a gazelle or to a fawn of the hills on distant mountains. Flee, my beloved, and liken yourself to a gazelle or to a fawn of the hills on the Spice Mountains. You see how gazelles and hymns become the symbol of the bridegroom. And each time we have gazelles and hymns, we are in fact talking about the bridegroom. I'm afraid that there have been a little bit of mixing up of the slides because I am losing a little bit my. But anyway, we are going to find our way within these. So gazelles and hymns are symbols of God. So as I said, Tzvaot is alluding to the God of hosts, and Ailot is both Ayal, so Hind, and Eyal, strength, by the hosts and the strength of the field. So it is both by the gazelles and the hymns of the field, and by the hosts and the strength of the field. So let us go back to the breasts. It is said, your two breasts are like two fawns, the twins of a gazelle who graze among the roses. You see, when we read that, Shnei Shadaich ki Shnei Afarim, Teumei Tzviya, Haroim Bashoshanim. Immediately we see that the bride is becoming like the bridegroom. She's divinized in some way. She's becoming more like the bridegroom. Her body even becomes like the bridegroom. And then we have at the end of the poem, the breasts become clusters of the vine. Ve'shadaich le'ashkalot. Your breasts are like clusters. It's always said about the bride. The bride becomes like the vine, like the vineyard. Ve'giyu shadaich ke'eshkolot hagefen. Let your breasts be now like clusters of the vine. So, we were talking about the breast. So first, the place where the bridegroom is resting. She is resting in the breast of the bride. Then the breast of the bride become like the breast of the bride become like the bridegroom. And then at the end of the poem, we have a very interesting text where it is said that the brothers of the bride are saying, but we have a small sister, and our small sister has no breast. What shall we do the day that it will be talked about her? I mean, I will read the text. We have a little sister who has no breast. What shall we do for our sister on the day she is spoken for? If she be a wall, we will build upon her a silver turret. And if she be a door, we will enclose her with cedar boards. What does it mean? If she is a wall and if she is a door. To be a door, it means that she lets everybody enter. And if she is a wall, she is protecting her virtue. She is strong. So then the bride answers, I am a wall. I am not a door. I am protecting my virtue. And my breasts are like towers. You were telling me that I had no breast. That means that I have no love, because breasts are the symbol of love for God. You were telling me that I had no love for the bridegroom. In fact, I have a mega love. My breasts are like towers. I have an incredible, a giant love. And then it is said, then I was in his eyes as one who finds peace. I will come back to that point because it is very important. It gives the key, in my opinion, to the whole book. So let us go now to the symbol of the vineyard. In the symbol of the vineyard, we will see at the beginning that the bride refuses to protect the vineyard. She has been put to keep the vineyard and she doesn't want to protect the vineyard. But then she starts talking with the bridegroom, and the bridegroom makes the body of the bride become like a vineyard. And the bridegroom warns the bride about the foxes who damage the vineyard. And in the end, there is a transformation of the bride, and the bride takes the bridegroom to the vineyard and takes care of the bridegroom's vineyard. Let us see each point one after the other. At the beginning, the bride refuses to protect the vineyard. Bnei imi nicharu bi, samuni notera et akarmin, karmi sheli lo natarti. My mother's sons were incensed against me. They made me keeper of the vineyard, but my own vineyard have I not kept. So she didn't do what she had to do. To become, the vineyard is always a symbol. It's a symbol in all the Old Testament. It's a symbol of the people of Israel. The fathers of the church will recognize in the image of the vineyard a symbol of the church. You see, it has a very deep meaning in both traditions. The second point is that the bride's body becomes the vineyard. A bundle of myrrh is my beloved to me. Between my breasts he shall lie. A cluster of henna flowers is my beloved to me. In the vineyards of the Kidwell. So look, this is a parallelism. The bride is speaking. She says, a bundle of myrrh is my beloved to me. Between my breasts he shall lie. A cluster of henna flowers is my beloved to me. This is really repeating the first verse with different words. And the second part of the verse repeats the former verse with different words. Instead of saying, between my breasts he shall lie, we say, in the vineyard of the Kidwell. That means my breasts become like vineyards. Then the bridegroom warns the bride about the dangers run by the vineyard. She has to protect the vineyard. She was not protecting the vineyard. She has to protect that people, and she is not protecting it. Take us the foxes, the little foxes that spoil the vineyards, for our vineyards are in blossom. Then the bride takes the bridegroom to the vineyard. It is not anymore the bridegroom who takes the bride to the vineyard. Now it is the bride who takes the bridegroom to the vineyard. She has learned the lesson. She becomes, she's starting to take care about these vineyards. And she says, let us get up early to the vineyard. Let us see whether the vine has budded, whether the vine blossom be opened, and the pomegranates be in flower. There will I give thee my love. And then the bride takes care of the bridegroom's vineyard. This is the end. So we have said just before that the bride is saying, my breasts are like towers. And then I have become under his eyes like the one who finds peace. So I will see now both the Hebrew, the Greek, and the Latin. It's very important to see all what is deep behind this text, which is very deep. Kerem היה לשלמה בבעל המון, נתן את הכרם לנוטרים, איש יביא בפריו 1,000 כסף. So we have in the Greek, Ampelone genetheto Salomon and Beel Hamon. So the word Baal Hamon are not translated. But Baal Hamon is a no place. It's an atopy. It's not a city. Baal Hamon is Baal Hamon, which means the owner of the multitude. And what does Saint Jerome do when he translates this? He understood that just before we were talking about peace. Actually, is the one who makes peace. And he says, Vinea fuit pacifico, inea quae abet populos, tradidit eam custodibus, vir adfer pro fructu eius mille argenteos. I translate the Vulgate literally. The peacemaker, Solomon, had a vineyard within the one who possesses people. He gave it over unto keepers, everyone for the fruit thereof brought in 1,000 pieces of silver. So, we are going back to the vineyard. We started the Song of Songs with the vineyard. We go back to the vineyard. This first vineyard, at the beginning, the bride didn't want to keep it. It was the vineyard that in a place that belonged to Solomon, and in the place that possesses all the multitude, all the peoples. And then it is said, and I will read all the languages now, Karmi sheli lefanai, ha'elef lecha shlomo, u'matayim lenotrim et pirio, ampelon mu, enopion mu, hoichilioi soi Salomon, kai hoidiakosioi, toisteru siton carpon autu. In Latin, vinea mea coram me est, mille tui pacifice, et ducenti isqui custodium fructus eius. And I will translate the Vulgate. My vineyard, which is mine, is before me. At last. Now we are at the end of the poem, at the end of the Song of Song, and at last the bride has learned the lesson. She has become a vineyard, and at the same time she is taking care of the vineyard. This is her role. She has to keep the vineyard for the bridegroom. My vineyard, which is mine, is before me. Karmi sheli lefanai. Thou, O peacemaker, shall have the 1,000, and those that keep the fruit thereof 200. So, this explains what we had just before. I am a wall, and my breasts are like towers. Ex quo facta sum corameo quasi pacem reperiens. And this is why I have become in front of him like the one who finds peace. We cannot find peace if we are not following the design of the bridegroom. This is the lesson of the Song of Songs. The ones who follow the design, the will of the bridegroom, who is God, those are the ones who find peace. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Christoph. It's been very nice. It really, as usual, it always shows that philology, that love for the word, that love for the languages that unites us, that are here celebrating the graduation of our students. And well, as you can see, we have here present, and then some more following us online or that unfortunately couldn't join us, from the Ancient Philology program. But we also have Rachel from the Fluency in Arabic, and we also have Andrew Basta, who couldn't be here today, from the program in Near Eastern languages. So because of that, now I'm going to call here Tagrib to give a speech. So please come and join us.
مساء الخير مرحبا. Good evening everyone. Of course what I'm going to say will not be compared to the precious speech that we had by Christoph. So thank you for your precious speech, for the nice speech you gave us, and you gave us also an idea about what is taught in Greek in our philology programs here. So I really appreciate it, and I'm really very proud and happy to take part of this graduation. In fact, my humble speech will be more about this day, this special day, because for me it is really special in too many senses. First of all, it's the first event that we are having here in Polis in person, first face to face, after this long year of online classes. Then also it's the first graduation that we are having after the online classes. So it has been a real challenging year for us as teachers to adapt with the online classes, online teaching. But I have to give the big clap, the real admiration for you students, GP students, because you had too many things to adapt with. First of all, the online classes, and second of all, which is really, I see it as a real challenge, to be away from your hometown, from your families, from your friends, but also deprived from the interaction with the other students, with the teachers. So I see it a real difficulty. So that's why you really deserve a big admiration and appreciation from us as teachers, as coordinators. So well done that you reached today to this day. And then thirdly, in general, I like graduations. It's a very nice day, I have to say it, because it's a day that marks a new stage in life, but you will always know the better is coming. With a graduation, you will know that new doors will be opened, new opportunities will be there. If you go to a new work, you may like it or not. If you do something new in life, you may succeed or not. But after the graduation, you will always know that you will be in a better place. So again, congratulations that you make it until here for this day. Now I would like to talk a little bit about the Arabic department, and of course when I talk about the Arabic department, I would like also to put an accent about the importance of the role of the other departments like the Greek, the Hebrew, the Latin. So when I'm talking about Arabic, it's one of the languages that is taught in Polis, but of course it goes along with the importance of the other languages here. So this year was my first year as a coordinator, and also I'm a spoken Arabic instructor, a modern standard instructor. I will talk a little bit about what happened in this department and what we were able to achieve this year, and also it can give idea, I'm sure, about the role of other departments. So luckily, and despite all of the challenges this year and during the both semesters, we were able to achieve 6 levels of spoken Arabic from level 1 to level 6, and 2 groups of advanced conversations. This is in spoken Arabic. level 1 to 4. I have to say big thanks for the administration, for the teachers, but for you, GP students and all students, because without any of these parties, we couldn't do all these courses just as a regular year. So luckily, we were able to achieve all these courses just like any regular year, despite of all the challenges. So I would like to thank everyone for this. But also, I have to thank you, GP students, because for me as a coordinator, I understood the importance of implementing all courses in time and not to hold on and not to give up, because I knew that we have these GP students that they have to graduate on this day. So there was no way to hold on, there was no way to give up. We as coordinators, as teachers, we understood the importance of this, and we had to handle it, and we have to make these courses successful, and we have to encourage our teachers, and your presence in our courses gave us a big motivation and also a big responsibility to go on with these courses. So thank you. Again, going back to this day, graduation days always have a mixture of feelings. So there is the happy part, the pride part that I'm sure every one of you is holding now. You are all proud, and you should be proud of yourselves and happy also to reach to this day. But I'm sure there is also this sad part that you will be leaving maybe the country, or leaving friends, or leaving the institute. But you have always to know that a Polis will always be open, and for you to come back to study more, to participate in new programs, or maybe to work here, or to have other courses. So you have to know that whatever you are holding here from nice memories, experience, of course, not to talk about the academic experience that you had, it will always stay with you, and you will always have your home here, Polis, open for you. So this is something that I would like you to keep in mind. Finally, I would like to put an accent about the workshops, the emphasis workshops, because personally I was lucky, and I have to say that this year, during my coordination, first coordination year, I was lucky to give 2 or maybe 3 workshops for the emphasis students. And I have to mention that these workshops were really very rich to me. Maybe it was useful and rich for the students, but I have to say they were really rich for me because of the enthusiasm that I have seen with all these students, and how much they were really involved in integrating and see excellent future teachers holding the Polis method. And also I had also learned from your experience, from their participation. So one more thank you. I hope I will not talk more. I just want to say I'm really happy that I had this chance to participate in this graduation. Thank you, congratulations for everyone, and thanks for everyone here.
شكرا إليك تقريب عن جد. Okay, so well, enough from us. So it's time now to give the word to our graduate students, and particularly to Ubi, who will give the speech representing all his graduation mates.
Khairete. Shalom. Wow. 2 years ago now, amazing. A group of us came for the first time, for most of us, into Polis. Can you hear me? Yes. Great. And we came from all over the world, from Canada, from all across the United States, from Russia, from Papua New Guinea, from Korea, from truly all over. And we sat down at the Great Polis banquet. Because in some ways, studying at Polis is like coming to a royal banquet. In some ways. It reminds me of a verse that the prophet Isaiah writes, describing a banquet in Jerusalem. In some ways. He says, "V'asa Adonai tzavaot lechol ha'amim, bahar hazeh, mishtei shmanim, mishtei shmarim, shmanim memuhayim, shmarim mezukakim." Hellenisti. Kai poyes e kyrios sabaoth pasitois ethnesim, epitohoros tuto piontai, eufrosynen, piontai oinon, Chrisontai myron, entohore tuto. He metafrasin, haute he metafrasin, ukestin is akribaya mala kalos. In English, on this mountain, that was just for the Greek speakers. There you go. It's a secret. On this mountain, the Lord of hosts will make for all peoples a feast of rich food, a feast of well-aged wine. A theme emerges, wine. Of rich food full of marrow, of aged wine well refined. Now in some ways the Polis banquet is a bit like this picture of a feast, a banquet. Rich and royal in Jerusalem, people from all nations, all the dwellers of this land, people from many lands, coming to the banquet to eat together, to learn together, to feast together, and to be with one another, even if it be through a screen. And so we came 2 years ago and we took our seats, trembling perhaps, at this banquet. Before we knew it, David HaMelech, King David himself, came and sat down right between Tyler and John James. And then Abraham Avinu, Abraham, came and sat down in between John and Tatiana. And then Moses. There they were. Shalom. David HaMelech. Abraham Avinu. Moshe. Shalom lachem. Anochi Yehoshua. Bruchim atem le'el elyon. We learn to speak with them. We learn to understand them, to ask them questions. We sang psalms with David HaMelech. We shared stories with Abraham. We discussed the Torah with Moshe. But before we knew it, we turned, and who did we see? At the other end of the table, Plutarch appeared. And then, of course, Plato walked in, and the room was filled with silence. And then Homer himself came and sat down at the end of the bench. There we were. Chairete, onomamoi ampelinos. Pos echete, oh megistoi curio. We learned to speak with them as well. We discussed the philosophy of marriage with Plutarch, cosmology and the nature of mankind with Plato. But then, before we knew it, the Apostle Paul came walking in, and he sat down next to Brett, of course. And then St. John the Evangelist, Ignatius of Antioch. They just kept coming. Virgil, Cicero, Augustine of Hippo, Philo of Alexandria, Josephus, Rabbi Akiva, Maimonides, Ibn Rushd, Arabic philosophers, Thomas Aquinas, Coptic and Syriac church fathers, each took their seat with us at the great Polis banquet. And there we sat, shoulder to shoulder with the ancients, at first in silence and awe at the presence of these great voices of the past. But before we knew it, we began to speak with them. Dialogues began. We began to understand them, to understand even their jokes and to make them laugh with ours. How many who have learned in the grammar translation method can make jokes with Plato? Perhaps. We asked them questions. able to hear not just their words, but the emotions with which they spoke them, the rhythms of their voices and the expressions that they had in silence. The excitement of David's praise and the melodic, reflective storytelling of St. John the Evangelist. And the feast went on. We feasted, we drank well-aged wine. The stars came out. There was Tyler sitting with King David, humming the songs. And there was Tatiana and Jonghan reciting poetry with Homer, who was very impressed with their dactylic hexameter. Brett was trying really hard to convince Ignatius of some very important theological points. Phil was... Where's Phil? There's Phil. He was grilling Paul the Apostle about his use of the Septuagint in his quotations in the epistles. And then there was John James. What were you doing? I couldn't think of what you were doing, so what were you doing?
Asking what swamp means.
He was correcting Homer on his dactylic hexameter, perhaps. There we were, in the great Polis banquet. And I have not asked them this, but I'm going to put them on the spot. And Tyler, will you sing for us one of the psalms you sang with King David? You can stand. Let's hear it for Tyler. I have not prepared anybody.
Surprise, okay. Shir ma'alot Esa'enai el he'arim Me'ain yavu Ezri me'im Hashem Osei shamayim v'aretz Al yiten lamot raglecha Al yanum shomrecha Yomam hashemesh lo yakeka Ve'yareach b'layla Hashem yishmorcha michora Yishmor et nafshecha Hashem yishmor tzedcha uvoecha Me'ata ve'ad olam.
Would anybody like to recite a verse of Homer? Or two verses from Homer? Or another Greek poet?
Sure, I can. From the beginning of the Iliad. Beginning. Ulumenen hemuria kaios alge theken holas diffimus psycha saidi projatsen holundanthropon nidemastria kai non egnon no. So that's a medley of the Iliad and the Odyssey.
Tatiana, do you have a verse of Greek poetry for us as well? Kalista, wow! This is what Polis students can do without any preparation. Which was from what?
It was a folk song about the swallow.
By who?
It was a folk song.
Amazing. I don't even know what that is. Beautiful. Rachel, we haven't. This is.
I'm enjoying the Greek.
Great. Brett, as well, a verse or something. The Lord's Prayer in Greek.
Okay. I gotta close my eyes. Pater Emon,
Pontos Ordenois, Hagia Stato to Onomasu, El Stato, Habesaleasu, Genetheto, Tothalemasu, Osen Ordeno, Epites Gays, Orton Hemon, Ton Epiusion, Dos Hemin Semanon, que Afisemin, Paracalo, Afisemin, Taufele, Mata Hemon, Oskai, Afiekamen, Portofeletais Hemon, que Meisene, Fisemas, Isparasmon, Alarusa Hemas, Apetu Poneru, Potisues de Basilea, y Dunamis de Doxa, Istu Sayona. Amen.
Beautiful. And so the banquet passed. The stars came out. We had drunk much aged wine and feasted much fine food, mat'amim, learned much, discussed much. And here we are at the end, the final toast, the final moment, and journey it has been. There happened to be a pandemic that came halfway through the banquet, so we adapted, and we're very thankful that we were able to continue despite. And I think we just give thanks. What a feast it has been. I personally would say I've loved studying with every one of you, amazing fellow students, that people are here truly to learn, and it's such a gift. I also, on behalf of the students, want to say a deep, heartfelt thank you to the staff and to the faculty, who have been truly incredible, really, truly incredible. Our teachers, the staff that make it possible for us to learn here, the sense that Polis truly is a family and not a business, and that as you come to study here, you're welcome to a table, to a banquet, and that is because the staff really live as a family here. Israelis, Palestinians, people from all over the world, doing something together with love, and it's a beautiful thing. I want to give a few special thank yous. First of all to Ravenel, who I don't think is here. She may not even hear this. But she was the, what's the title?
Coordinator of Studies.
Coordinator of Studies, I would know. Who basically took us into the pandemic and transferred everything online. And I cannot imagine how much work landed on Ravenel in that moment. And she was, so I don't know how to pass this message on to you, Ravenel, but we want to applaud you and thank you. And to Chaya, who came and took over from Ravenel in the middle of a pandemic. So incredible, and we're very thankful you hit the ground running. A special thank you to the most amazing, adaptable tour guide in the world, who managed to somehow give incredible detailed tours as PowerPoint presentations. He dies, take us to Megiddo. Bezrat Hashem. Teresa has been incredible and has juggled so many things and stepped up in an amazing way this year, and we're very thankful. Hani, who many of the students I don't think get to interact with, but my sense is that Hani does more than any of us could ever imagine, and with a lot of humility and love. I mean Maria. He sits and makes it feel like a family. When you see Hani, you feel like you're in a home, not just in a business. So, and especially personally, I want to thank Eyal, who has invested in me, especially in an incredible way that I'm deeply humbled and thankful for. But in all of us as students, I think, Eyal, you model what it is to be a teacher who doesn't just teach, but who loves and serves his students and goes far above and beyond to the middle of the night serving his students. And so we are very, very thankful. But to all of you, Mercedes, Christophe, Maria, Fatme, who's here, Marvin, who's joined us, which is amazing, and to all of staff, Tavrid and Hiba, I think is there as well. Amazing Arabic teachers, and to all of you, really, it's incredible to see the staff and the faculty here, and we're very, very thankful. And Ailuros, yes. and who am I forgetting? Is there anybody very important we need to thank and honor at this moment? Great. You know who you are if you have not been named. And so so we're thankful. Here we are. And I suppose the final thing is to invite all those who have not yet come and tasted Ta'amul Uki Tov. The banquet is here. It will keep going. And come and taste, come and join the feast. And we look forward to many years ahead to see what Polis becomes and the people who will come and the way it will grow and adapt with much joy and expectation. So we give thanks and thank you to you all very much.
Well, thank you very much, Ubi. I mean, after this speech, you can understand that this period, this difficult period for everyone, wouldn't have been the same without the students that we got. So thank you very much. I would also like to remember, like Antu mentioned, the great work of our teachers abroad, particularly Rogelio and Julie, who have done a wonderful job. They have really done their best with the difficult circumstances that they've had. And then also, here, Haya is telling me someone, not
Tanya.
Oh, yes. And then also as part of, like, the head of program of the Near Eastern languages, Tanya, so teacher of linguistics as well. So, and then the Hebrew teachers and the rest of the Arabic teachers, Nuha, the Shahed, and everyone. So yes, thank you very much to all the Polis team. And also, so now I'm going to call Christoph back because we are going to give the gift, like some graduation gift to the students. But I would also like to say that these are gifts for the students that are graduating and are present here. But I would also like to mention especially Andrew Basta, who is graduating from the Manel. So thank you very much, Andrew. We would love if you could have been here. Also, Jonathan from the Fluency in Ancient Greek. You have been, I mean, I've had the pleasure of seeing some of your classes in Greek, and I'm pretty sure that you could have joined them reciting things in Ancient Greek. So congratulations as well. And then from the Ancient Philology program, I would like to remember and to mention as well Jonathan Fix. Also great contribution to the program, and we really miss you. And Maria Overy, we would have loved for you to be here, and we wish you all the best. And you're here with us and in our hearts, and hopefully you will manage to come back and to properly say goodbye to us or say hello again. Before we go. So now, Christoph, please. So from the Ancient Philology program, I would like to call Tatiana Marvina.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. John James. Tyler Foster. Ubi Weinberg. Brett Hancock. And finally, from the Fluency in Arabic, I would like to call Rachel Prusak. Never the least. So, well, with this, we are done. I would just like to say once more thank you to every one of you, to the students, to the staff. Thank you to all those who have joined us through the live stream. Thank you, Haya, for setting everything up. And to everyone that has been involved in the preparation, Maria especially, and Hiba. Well, now, as you know, there's like some little refreshments inside, so I invite all of you. And thank you very much for coming and for coming to honor our graduate students today. Thank you.